question of morality as it relates to the human-animal relationship is a huge question. It's the next big hurdle of social, moral development that humans need to cross. I say next because it's already underway. We're becoming much more aware of that.
By any of the data. The fact is that all animals are sentient, and humans are animals. And we share the basic property of emotions, pleasure, and pain with other animals.
Psychological that make up that spectrum of experience that we call sentience. Sentience means the capacity to feel. It really refers to a whole spectrum of feelings, from the agony of the worst sorts of pain to the ecstasy of the best sorts of pleasure. The sentient beings ourselves.
The science is there, and it is growing by the minute. And we are deliberately ignoring it because it is inconvenient to recognize it. Sentience is a concept.
Emotional research is. Now, animals definitely have emotions, but that doesn't mean that they're people. There's one big thing in the brain that separates people from animals, the size of cortex. We've got raw computer power that animals don't have. Animals are not going to fly to the moon. Intellect is what separates people from animals, not emotion.
Because it really is the solution to all our ills. Someone once said that animals are another nation. They're not aliens, they're not property, they're not dangers, but rather they're other beings with whom we share life, who have as vested an interest in their own lives as we do. All we need to do is make certain that we don't become the plague, the vermin that takes it all over, but rather make sure that there's always room for them, because without them, we'd be one hell of a lonely place.
I feel like I'm a war photographer and I'm photographing history. I'm photographing changes in history right now in terms of animal rights and where it's going. On that, right in the corner there. Such a good mom.
Yeah.
Next cage. She needs water. Wonder how long she's been without. Leaving is always the hardest thing, and leaving is the reason that I'm haunted. I'm closing the door as I leave this factory farm or this fur farm or this slaughterhouse. I'm closing the door and leaving them behind. Leaving's the hardest part of my work. What it is an emergency for these animals, and the activist side of me came first when I realized that my photos were far more effective and got out there much quicker when I worked with campaigns. So for example, when I shot the fur farms in Sweden, hundreds of thousands of people saw those photos because there was a big campaign happening. I just came back from Laos and Vietnam, Cambodia, so I can show you a few of the photos. I think you've seen some of them. So this is where they're kept right before they're heading, being shipped to China. This is a typical facility. When people think about animals in labs, they think about animals in a cage in a lab, but their history before that and the way that they're raised is a secret. So these are monkeys that are wild caught, often in Cambodia, and raised in Laos and Vietnam. But it involves American companies and European companies who are buying these monkeys. And that's why we want this to be a story here as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think this is so powerful. That disturbing.
It's really disturbing. They're a commodity. They're not really worth much. And that's why they don't care about the conditions, so they don't feed them very much. They're just, the bare minimum to keep them alive.
Oh my God, look how he's holding that monkey. That's pretty sad.
Really
and
depressing.
you see, just bringing that up, you see the conflict here because these images are so difficult. Consumer magazines are not going to publish them.
It's so potent, though. I mean, I
know.
understand.
I know.
It's such potent.
But this is what we always talked about, and the
And
problem
these issues are so important.
Because
we pick up stories from photographers, that have social impact, around the world because we care about it. But doesn't mean if what we care about doesn't mean it's gonna get published tomorrow or the day after tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the less graphic it is, I mean, this is still like a PG society for a lot of magazine here in the U.S.
I mean, I think that's a good way of
PG-13,
putting it,
you know,
or PG-13.
So,
yeah.
Do you sleep well at night?
I have PTSD.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I have a lot of nightmares.
I was imagined.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to take care of that.
I totally relate to that. I mean, we have war photographers that come in and they just crash because it's just
Well, like you
the
said,
mental picture of what
when
they've
you're
done.
there, you're in the crisis zone.
The adrenaline is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to witness so many emergencies, like going to a factory farm where there's 40,000 pigs suffering, and then also like when you're watching an animal being led to slaughter and being with them as they die. I'm not sure what to say about it. It's just what I do, and it would.
Well, it's important, and unfortunately, I wish every magazine will write about it every day, but it's not going to be the case. We can tell you that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what we can tell you is, I think all three of us will try to get your stuff out there.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, we'll try to get you as many appointments as possible
Okay.
as you can.
Okay. Well, that's something. That's good.
Yeah.
So let's be in touch more.
Yeah. Listen, it was great seeing
just
you.
communicate.
Yeah.
If you have any
Absolutely.
questions about anything, just email me, and we'll keep each other informed.
So we'll stay in touch.
Yes, please.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work.
I wouldn't say that I take photographs of animals. I would say that I photograph the predicaments that animals are in because of humans. When I started photography, the success came from creating a good artistic image, and that's still important, but not as important as creating a connection between the non-human animal in the picture and humans. The photography has become a tool for activism. My mission in life is to raise awareness about animal issues. There are not many people working for animals. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Cheers.
Great to see everyone again.
Yes.
Yeah. You like to cook?
You know, funnily enough, I like to cook for lots of people. Normally I have rice and beans every night, you know, it's really, but you know.
They support documentary photographers, and they do more than like some of the other agencies, and they're known for that, and that's why I went to them. But 2.5 years ago, we had kind of the same meeting that we had today, which was great photos. This issue isn't on the radar at all, and they're like, until it's on the radar.
But how does it get on the radar? Isn't that like, I mean, not to make an impressive term.
Yeah.
Is this an impressive term, but isn't it a chicken and egg situation? Like, isn't it up to our people and the media to make it an issue? Mm-hmm. That's ultimately what we have to change.
We have to get to the point where they want to look at these animals and understand that each animal is an individual.
They see the animals that they want to see, like wildlife and pets. And it's comfortable to look at those, and inspires feelings of happiness and comfort and familiarity. But the ones that we don't look at are the ones that I'm often trying to photograph. Those who are objectified in zoos, those that we eat and wear. And so there's an invisibility there.
Well, you want to talk about the book?
Yeah.
You came to me with an idea of publishing a book of and with your photos. And I said to you, it'll be a very expensive project. We can't afford it. You need to get a grant.
Do you want to be my editor?
I'm gonna put the stuff down in writing, and I'm gonna come up with a budget, and we're gonna think big.
Okay.
So the answer is yes, I could be your editor.
Hello?
Hey, Marcel, it's Joe. How are you?
Good, Joe. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm calling because I want to talk about putting together that portfolio so we can get it out to the right people.
Absolutely.
I guess I need some guidance from you as to how we do that, and strategically, like what stories we put in there that you feel will fit best with certain clients.
Yeah, I think you have great series either on the monkeys.
Okay, and stuff that I've sent to you recently is the bear story.
The bear story is amazing.
Okay, there's the mink farming. And
the mink farming, yes.
Okay, that's a yes. And do you have any idea yet where we will try and send this portfolio?
I think talking about major magazine here, New York Times Magazine, you need to see it, the New Yorker, Time, and Newsweek.
Okay, sounds great, Marcel. Thank you so much. I need to shoot more fur stories. Not just the mink, but the smaller animals, and the foxes, and the raccoons, and the dogs even, who are kept in cages for fur. These places are often out in the middle of nowhere. You have to go off the beaten track and down paths and down dirt roads to get to these places.
Denmark, China, Finland, Holland. It's the last 10 years I'm doing one job after the next.
The fur industry says everything is okay, everything is controlled, everything is fine. And this investigation should show the opposite. This whole industry is rotten from inside, and this is our task to get on tape.
Yeah,
because
and we need to stay on top of it, shooting new stuff all the time to show that this isn't last year's footage, this is right now's footage.
Ich fahre raus, Ende. Entschuldigung. My way is to really give the media the best footage available. That's the reason why I decided to take photos. A photo can do 1,000 more times harm to the industry than
an action.
Than any direct action activity. And I learned this, for example, when I worked in an animal testing laboratory. This laboratory was not afraid of property damage because this is paid by the insurance, or they can pay it from their pocket money.
Yeah.
But they were afraid of somebody infiltrating them, taking photo, video.
And that's what you were there doing?
Yeah.
How long did you stay there?
5 months.
Oh my God.
I show you just to give you a little overview.
We're starting with mink?
No, fox.
Oh God.
So here we are. This is the fox farm. Quite a smaller one, but it's all the same. If it is a one with 5,000 foxes or 200, it doesn't matter. It's the same system.
Yeah.
It's a farm area, a lot of agricultural stuff, but fortunately this farm is located here in the corner between the railway line and the forest. So the only houses within vision range are here about 400 meters away. So they are not a threat. The only threat is this road, but we will locate one person here. And maybe one person here.
Amazing.
And so we, or at this line, we will see how the situation is. And so whatever happens, we have a warning time of about 1 minute.
So what time do the farmers start at this place?
We don't know. But normally, fur farmers are not a job for really busy people. So the only activity, the daily activity, is getting feed to the foxes 2 times. So 1 time in the morning and 1 time in the evening. We should be finished in 1 hour because at 6:30 all the people go to work and the chance that somebody will see something is much higher. In case of emergency, you leave the farm first. I will go as last person, and so.
Emotionally, I'm already there.
Okay.
I'm already there with them.
So we drive there. It will take about 15 minutes to 20 minutes to go there. Foxes are vulnerable for self-mutilation and cannibalism, so it could be that there will be wounds, and this is especially important to get on tape.
Yeah, and the ear injuries, the neck injuries.
We will park the car deep in the forest.
Oh, great.
So this is safe there. Nobody will make any trouble there.
It stinks already.
The life cycle of a fur farm begins in March with the mating. That means that the number of the animals may be up to 7 times higher. That means the cages are
Crammed.
overcrowded. The animals
already.
begin to fight. Aggression will start.
Yeah.
They will be divided from the mothers in June to July.
Okay.
And then for every fox but the females and the few mating males, the life ends in November or December. Be careful in touching stuff.
Yep, no traces of us.
Yeah, no damages, no traces.
Okay, we should go.
You connect with them because you're looking in their eyes and they're looking in yours. And I knew actually seeing the foxes would be hard because they're so soulful. Their eyes and their movements, I mean, they're really easy to read because they're like dogs. I'm not there to liberate them. I'm there to document them. And as much as I'd like to liberate them from their cages, I can't because that's not going to change the system. So my role is to educate people, and then there won't be future generations of these animals. That is really infected.
Yeah, but it shows there is no medical treatment of the animals. They just survive or not.
Yeah. What's the plan this afternoon?
Plan is arriving at this very big mink farm, getting some good outside shots showing how huge these factory farms can come.
Hard to document, actually.
If we count the sheds, for sure over 100,000, but it's very hard to say. A mink farm can have 20,000, and in 3 months later, after the young ones have come, it's 6 times or 7 times more. But this is the top range of mink farming worldwide. If you look at the facility, how it's built, there's Western money involved in this. Thousands of fur farms have been shut down in Europe in the last years, so the fur industry is still on the run everywhere. I'm not sure if I will see the day with the last fur farm worldwide being shut down.
Look, the breeding card.
One of the very rare proofs.
FFS International.
Oh, that's another one. That's a Dutch company.
Since I was a kid, I've always felt a community with animals. My mom had 10 chickens, 10 layer hens at her country home, and they became my friends. I knew which ones were shy, I knew which ones were the boss. Seeing their dynamics and seeing just what incredible personalities they had. I learned that, you know, if I went home and ate chicken, I wasn't just eating a piece of meat, I was eating a little person, you know, someone with a personality, someone with sentience. Being here, being at the farm allows me to process.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing them happy, and it makes me think of the sad ones, but then it makes me think of the ones that are in the farms, confined and like completely abused.
Not everybody can come to the sanctuaries. There's such a thing where there's so many people who are like, oh, sanctuaries are not, you're wasting money. I don't think it's a waste of money because it used to be more of a farming world. It's not now. Most people live in the cities. There's very few farmers. Most of the small farms are getting eaten alive by the factory farms, so nobody makes those connections to animals anymore. So they're almost so disconnected that we're desensitized to them. I think that having sanctuaries is just like this whole like getting to the heart of like these are individual animals and they have feelings and they like see them, like who they are. And each one's different.
You can't feel anything for a billion animals or a million
No
animals
one
or even
can.
1,000 or 100.
You can't do that with people.
But that's what you guys do. You put a face.
A face and a name. Every time we get one of these animals on the farm, they represent all those animals that we can't save. So we have the powerful photos to show like what it's like when we get these animals out of the stockyard and how bad a shape they're in. So I actually am very hopeful that we can really make this a very special rescue. The girl that we got was in the sale where they were getting rid of all the spent mothers, the spent dairy cows. The little calf we got was down, but is back up, and he's really, really, really tiny, and they look so terrified. Like none of it makes any sense, really. Yeah, and nobody wanted her. And I always do this whole thing about, you know, I'm going to vet school, and I want animals that are not good,
so that you can work on them.
Yeah. But when this cow came up, they had somebody walk up and say, like, you have to kill her. That's all she's good for at this point, which is just insane.
Yeah.
I can go behind. Come on, sweetie. Up. Come on. Come on, babe.
So what did you think?
The pulse rate was 64 and the respiratory rate was 36, and the breathing sound was clear also. And
Her eyes aren't very sunken, but I'm sure she is somewhat dehydrated. So did you palpate any abnormalities with her udder?
The appearance is okay. There's no swelling and no redness, and then appearance of milking is also okay.
Yeah, normal.
And I didn't hear any pain on both sides.
Neither did I. And then obviously her feet are extremely long, and that seems like she doesn't have mastitis, so I don't think she's kicking at her udder. Her long hooves were probably causing most of her troubles. So we'll be taking at least 2 inches off. give it any fluids, I kind of want to know what its sodium is, because it's been at the sail all day, dehydrated, and if it's really hypernatremic.
The connection that I have to animals while I'm photographing them is one of empathy and understanding that there's a huge mistreatment and inequality between human and non-human animals. And that's always in the forefront of my mind.
So this is like the history of everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's in here. Everybody has a record.
Yep.
So like you can see animals, that we've had for a very, very, very long time. If you look, we start from the very first animal, which is Hilda. Yeah, and she's in here. So this is the incoming, outgoing log for everybody. Yeah, and if you notice, they're like Bombay, Tom Collins, Grog. Like when you run out of names, you really do.
Perfect.
Yeah, this is Sonny's chart. He has ulcers already. I know, it's terrible. I like how they called her unknown, too. That's what they always start out as. Number 880257. She was numbered. Adult female count of unknown age.
Hi, Fanny, sweet girl. This is your new home, sweetheart?
I think she hears you.
Yeah, he's got that. That's for his umbilical cord problem. That's for ulcers. Okay.
Little man.
Okay, he's coming.
Hi, Sonny.
You see, it hurts just like touching that tag hurts because the metal gets pulled. Would you like to keep this?
Yes.
Okay, you can have it.
Actually,
I keep a whole bunch of them. Yeah. I have almost everybody's, so you can have that one. Thank you, Mario.
No problem, guys.
Farm Sanctuary is my home away from home. It's where I go when I need to recuperate and be with happy animals. Surrounding myself with people who are working really hard for the same goals that I have. which is animal liberation.
Come up and stay for a week and just take pictures and hang, lay in the grass.
How about a month?
You can stay for a month. You can stay as long as you want. Because you need a break from all, when you're seeing just bad, it's hard. Yeah. You gotta lay back and see the good. And the good is here.
Hi, Blitzen. Hello. Hello. I'm trying to say hi to Fanny. Okay, come on. I know. Come on. Hi, Fanny, sweet girl. Hi. I know where you were a few months ago. Yeah, you're still shy. I know. How are those legs, huh? Hi, Sunny. You. You're so big now. I'm finally getting these thousands of stories that I have down on paper. The animals that I've left behind are never far from my mind. I want the book to be a meditation on the individuals that I've met throughout the years. There have been hundreds of thousands, but some of them I've spent more time with. Oh, hello there. Thank you. And some of them stay with me in my heart as I go forward doing this work. Teresa. And I want to share their stories, and I think people will want to read them because these are really incredible individuals that I've met in incredible circumstances. So I can just put those images and all those stories in front of me. I Hi, pretty girl. Yeah, sore leg always. We're good. Hey, beautiful.
And I think that the stories will change people and get people caring about animals. So with that, I have immense motivation to be here, to be writing.
Have become the dog of choice. One, because they're the right size. They're, around 40 pounds or less. Two, because there are enough laboratories providing beagles that they have been able to selectively breed over the last many decades for a docile, passive, non-aggressive dog. All of that actually makes the beagle an even more heartbreaking model than one might already think.
Hello. When it comes to documenting animals used in research and animals in labs, there aren't a lot of open doors for me. So there needs to be other ways of telling these stories of these animals who've come from such places.
Hey, Maggie. Good girl.
Maggie is actually a purpose-bred beagle. Not all beagles are used in research labs. Some, like Maggie, are used in teaching facilities. What's interesting about Melanie and Mark is that they're not animal rights people. They're regular dog-loving people like most of us. They've adopted Maggie, and their life has been changed.
So sweet, girl. Tattoos from your past shows where you've been, hey, pretty girl.
That's sweet.
To get Maggie to where she is now was a long and hard, very hard journey.
I'm supposed to be shooting, Maggie. I'm supposed to be shooting. Okay, off you go.
After Maggie's rescue, she went through a year of transformation to become the dog that she is now. What a mess.
Oh, really?
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
When we got her, she was about 8 or 9 months old. So she was still a puppy. And, well, separation anxiety was probably the worst thing. The facility had said to bring a crate, that's what they were used to, and that they would adapt and they would be fine with their crate. She was throwing up. She was going nuts. She was chewing on the metal bar, the door, and she was cutting her gums and everything. Like, she was going crazy. We didn't know how to deal with it, so we completely cut the crating out. She has a lot of issues, and there's a lot of issues that we may never be able to fix.
Yeah.
Please check all the reasons for wish to adopt a pet. Companion? I think so, yes. Company for current pet?
Yep.
Yes. Please list any and all pets that you own or have owned in the past 10 years. Maggie, 2.5. Female, spayed, yes, still own, yes. Knowing that most animals coming from research and teaching have lived a very different lifestyle than a house pet, are you willing to allow for an adjustment period that may last weeks or months before the dog fully settles into the home environment?
Well, we've done it.
Yeah.
with Maggie, and
Gonna take some
it was
water.
more than weeks and
It was
months.
more like a year.
Yeah.
But I think Maggie's gonna be a big help. I love the breed, and I feel it's been life-changing.
Let's go get our dog.
Oh. She's got a lot of same markings as Maggie.
She does?
She's lighter in the face.
So they said she's had more done to her than Maggie
That's
did.
what she was saying, yeah.
Yeah, I will have to find out more about that. Wow, she's so docile.
She's very docile.
This is so exciting. What a beautiful face. Oh, she's far.
so sweet.
Hi. And what a life she's had, I wonder, eh? Like, not much of one.
Hi, Pop.
Hello.
Hey. Come on. She's got anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fix this anxiety. That's it for me. Yeah.
You said you were going to change her name?
Yes. Abby.
Abby.
Abbey. Is that for her?
Yes.
For the vet, right? With all her procedures and everything?
Yes, this is what she's been through and what she's been vaccinated for. She was a teaching candidate for her spay.
Okay. So I'll go with you?
Yep.
Yeah, they are. Abby. Hi, baby. Are you ready to go? Abby. All right. Are you ready for the drive home?
What's going on?
I'm just taking it easy because I don't know how she is in a car.
She's sitting very good, actually.
She's just so, like, mesmerized.
Yeah.
You see the look in her face.
Those are nice photos, sweetheart. You photograph very well, Abby. Here we go.
Go. No. Wait. Oh, you're standing on end. That's cool. Hi, Abby. Good girl.
Home.
This is your home. Nice and great. You can do it. You can do it. Go up one more. Keep going. One more. Ready? Up one more. Good. Almost there.
There she goes.
One more. Up one.
The unfortunate trend that is occurring globally is that marine theme parks holding marine mammals captive are literally popping up everywhere. Any highly intelligent, highly social animal cannot thrive in zoos or aquaria. We have more than enough scientific evidence to tell us that.
He squints his eyes in dim light. He has come to us from Zurich. He was born in May 2000. He's an only child, and as a baby he was spoiled. His mother Sandra, who unfortunately was too. Azizi. Our gorillas are two chimps with rather exotic names, Azizi and Mount Tumbler. They are low gorillas. Azizi is the smaller one, with a distinctive grimace on his face. And he likes his new tendency to be quiet. The other gorilla, Tumbler, is a year older. He is bigger and ferocious, with white hairs on his back. It means he will soon reach puberty and will be able to be fast and utterly polite. He is definitely more impulsive than his partner. Sometimes
The book's going to be dedicated to Ron. He's a chimpanzee that I've met a few times that I had quite a connection with. He passed away last year, but he spent most of his life, over 30 years, used in research, and he lived in a cage. Ron just underwent so many surgeries. He was anesthetized so many times, 16 times in a 5-week period, and he was kept in a 5x5x7 cage. And he wasn't really given any enrichment except for once in a while a blanket or a sheet. And even after his rescue, that was his comfort, that's what he knew. So he would gather up a bunch of blankets and make a perfect circular nest. The forgiveness that he showed to humans was really incredible. And he's such an ambassador for animals used in research. And I really miss him.
so gentle.
Hi, this is Susie. We just took in a gestation cell and she gave birth to 16 piglets, and we had to pull 8, and they are going through some serious milk. We got the gestation cell. One of the workers turned in that they beat her. The worker went to the police and turned her in. The police actually pulled her out. They called us, we went and got her, and then we took her here. This is the farm she came from. Mm-hmm. These are the gestation cells. That's all the room they have on concrete. Mm-hmm. And this. He showed me this is where she came from. So these are her neighbors and this is where they had moved her from. And you can see everybody's pregnant. That's one of the moms. I wanted to take all of them out and I couldn't. And this is her. Like she had blood all over here. These are bruises. And then the top of her is where the burns are. This is all electrical burns from a cattle prod. And then they took a metal pole and beat her with it. And she went into shock. And she had completely collapsed by the time we had her in the trailer. It just doesn't even make any sense that she went through all that. Yeah, they really hurt her. And then she came here. She was just such a mess. To put an animal through all that while she was like days from giving birth, just because she wouldn't do what they wanted. She's a heartbreaker. She is so sweet. When I talked to this guy, it was crazy. He said, I said, how long do you keep your sows? And he said, oh, I never keep them more than 2 years. Like he's doing them a favor, which he is, but that means they go to slaughter. Yeah. So it's like, so they don't even get to live more than 2 years. So that, but they're impregnated 2.5 times a year. Yeah, because they're a 144-day cycle. Yeah, it's one of the most horrible, they're machines.
How big are they going to be?
The boys will be like 800 pounds, and the girls be like 6.
So silly. There we go.
Good to see you. We have an editor from Newsweek coming in.
Hi, Jamie.
This is
I'm
Joanne.
Joanne.
Hey.
Pleasure. Thank you for waiting. I'm sorry it took me forever. How are you? Good to see you. You're in Toronto, but you spend 6 months a year pursuing this issue.
Yeah, that's the thing. I have a huge archive, 10 years
excellent.
worth, of our relationships with animals around the globe. And I'm trying to save the world.
No, but there's nothing wrong with that. That's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Even though often I look at issues which are about torment and loss, even aggression and sadness. But unless we expose those to the world, what chance do we have to engage in conversation, to figure out ways to save the world?
So that's what I'm doing, photographing these topics, but it's an invisible war, and it's a war against animals.
Very powerful.
Thank you.
Very upsetting. Strong, though, visually, it's very strong.
And I'm looking at stuff closer to home, stuff that's really invisible.
Such
like,
as?
Like factory farming.
Right.
Because the highest number of animals in the world are suffering the worst fates. So this is a day in the life of a veal and dairy farm.
New York is a huge dairy state, by the way.
And this is like organic, you know, humanely raised animals. I'm trying to show the industry of it, even at the small.
It's very good.
Small farms.
But milk that's slightly different for you than butchering them. Or is it kind of similar?
They get it butchered eventually, and like these dairy cows can live 20 years, but they usually get butchered at 3 or 4 years old because their bodies are just completely spent. So, and actually a lot of people go vegetarian and they cut out like the red meats and the chickens and for
and then
ethical
sit around
reasons.
and eat lobster or something.
Or they continue to
people?
eat dairy and
ice
eggs.
cream, for instance.
But those are actually the cruelest industries, much crueler because of the confinement of the animals, and their babies are taken away and how quickly they get slaughtered and the way their bodies are super abused. So if
That's the hormone thing then.
No, not even. Not even. Like layer hens have the
How
worst.
long have you been a vegan?
Almost 10 years.
You know, when you talk about the number of animals which are killed a year to be consumed, how many are you talking about?
Around 10
Millions.
billion animals a year for food. And that doesn't include the sea animals, which are way higher. The numbers are way higher. The ones that are killed and caught in nets.
In the nets. And what would you do next if you could go out and do any story? Where would it be?
Actually, it needs to be where there's concentrated suffering.
Where would that be?
Developed countries with factory farming. And I would also like to get assignments doing this kind of thing. I need to spend time getting myself out there so that publications think of me when they have an animal
Well,
story.
you have to go and visit places about your work.
I need to be doing more of this. So
I would say so. I mean, this is your cause in life. You have to push it. People will continue to do this story, and it's important that they know that you've been doing it. You have to make people aware that you're doing this work.
One of
You
my
know,
challenges
if
with
you run a
that.
story in the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, and a lot of people would see it.
I know.
A lot.
Yeah.
And it's very, very important, not just for you, but obviously for the issue. So after having done years and years of this work, what's your feeling about your fellow human being?
I can't spend a lot of time thinking why are we like this, because I don't have an answer and there's not an easy one. So my job is to take the pictures.
Yeah, but since you are taking the pictures and you are endowing yourself with a certain amount of responsibility on this issue, you have a lot more than you actually are giving yourself credit for. I'm always fascinated by the fact that, you know, how do you change something that's so culturally ingrained?
I think that we can use animals in an ethical manner for food. There's many animals that if we didn't breed them, they wouldn't be here. But we must give that animal a life worth living. About 50% of the cattle in the U.S., Canada, and Australia, when they go to the very large slaughter plants, are handled in my center track restrainer system. And I often get asked, do big plants really work well? Big plants will work just fine if equipment's set up right. You've got to make sure you don't understaff and overload equipment. These are my drawings that I hand drafted myself. We've got two curved cattle handling systems, and you might wonder, why are they curved? Cattle have a natural tendency to want to go back to where they come from. So you can use that behavior to help you get the animals through the system. One of the things that was really important is looking at what are the cattle seeing. They see people walking by, they won't go in. The entrance is too dark, they won't go in. You got to light up the entrance just right. You can't have reflections on it. You've got to have a non-slip floor. You've got to block the vision in just the right places. Details of design are important. Also, since the system is about 7 feet off the ground, you've got to put in a false floor so the animals don't see the visual cliff effect. With cattle, it's all about what they see. You control what they see, and they're on a non-slip surface, then they'll walk right in. I think slaughter plants should have glass walls. I've taken lots of people through large slaughter plants when they're working right. And I have them watch the cattle going up the ramp, and they kind of go, I can't believe how quietly they go up the ramp. Now, one of the ways you could give them glass walls is video. You could just stream it out to the internet.
How's Fanny?
Fanny's good.
Does she still kick?
Yeah, she sometimes kicks the leg.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's always going to have hoof problems for the rest of her life because they were bad, and she's always going to have arthritis.
Hi, Fanny, sweet girl. Hi.
I'm gonna go say hi to everyone else. Is Sunny growing healthy?
Sunny is probably about 800 pounds. Yeah, Sunny will turn a year, so Sunny's going to be a year old now. Come over here.
He's so huggable. Look at your perfect eyelashes. Look at this.
I truly believe that it's innate, that we're all compassionate, and that if we're given the opportunity to care, we will.
I have a question about how you said you can't always go through the front door. I don't know, you kind of said it was kind of like an espionage thing. I was wondering, what does that kind of entail?
Okay, thanks. Hi, so I was just wondering, because with a lot of the stories you talk about and even what you hear in the news, do you find that the majority of things that are going on are overseas? Because I know there is stuff that does go on here, but it's like you don't hear about that as much.
As we all know, photos can speak 1,000 words. And if we can get in and get close up and document something from the point of view of the animal and show what animals go through, then that will change the hearts and minds of people.
Hi, I was wondering, what are your plans for the future?
Most ancient cultures of the world thought of themselves as the family of the earth, with all beings a part of the web of life, not masters and owners of it. And we've had this development of a worldview that defined power and rights only in the hands of a few human beings, taking rights away from other beings, including animals. And I think what we are seeing today is a correction of that aberration.
I'm convinced that animal rights and human rights work together. If we had been having this conversation 200 years ago, and we had been talking about slavery or suffrage, people would argue women will never have a say in governance. They would have argued that it's natural for humans to hold other humans as slaves.
I would love to see the animals to have rights. I do not know exactly what this would mean. Probably one say no use of animals at all. Others would say no abuse of animals. The perception of animal rights is a little bit vague, especially knowing the process of lawmaking, especially trying to get a majority in parliament and of the population to say yes 2 steps ahead.
The fact of the matter is that animals don't even have a right to live. So we are quite far away from achieving animal rights. I think other nations could learn something from Switzerland, namely that you can protect animals on a legal level and that you can achieve a lot for animal welfare with the leverage of the law. Animals have earned our continued efforts on their behalf. They can't do it on their own. They are reliant on us, and it needs to be done on a societal level, and of course also on a legal level with strong laws and consistent enforcement.
Inherently, any living organism has basic rights to bodily integrity and liberty, and to not be owned or controlled by another being. And by that I mean not that they're deserving of rights that we might give them, but that they have them already by virtue of who they are.
Don't